Hello, my name is Ben Schubert and I'm a member of the SAP Emerging Technologies team, and I would like to show you today how to implement SAP Hana, Prometheus Hana database exporter, activate the Loki systemd function on a Hana database node, and provide a new dashboard for Grafana, and activate Loki annotation for Hana system application takeover event. First, let's start with installing the Prometheus Hana database exporter. If you have SUSE Linux Enterprise Server for SAP application, you can simply get the packages from our repositories. Let's check what we have. So we have the node exporter available there. We have the cluster exporter there. We have the Hana database exporter and the SAP host exporter. So we choose here the Hana database exporter, and as we also would like to install or activate Loki, we will install Loki in the same step. So let me do it like this. And the Loki thing, so this will install the database exporter and all the Loki parts. There we are. So as you have seen, the Prometheus node exporter and cluster exporter is already up and running, installed and already up and running. So both exporters can simply start it with systemctl start and then the exporter file, exporter name. If you can live with the defaults, you don't have to change anything there. For the Hana database exporter, we have to do a little bit more. One thing is we have to install an HTTP CLI client, which is available in the HTTP Hana database client folder. So we can just check if this is the case here. edu is my SID and HTTP CLI is the client directory, and we look for a CLI package, and as we can see, it's there. So we need this for the Hana database exporter, so we can install this with pip install and doing like this. Okay, it's done. And now we have to prepare a configuration file and copy the log file to prepared directory, which is the etc Hana database exporter. So first of all, we copy a configuration example to a Hana specific, to a Hana SID specific configuration file. This has to be done on both Hana nodes. On the first node, it's already done because we will implement this daemon or this system unit later on in the cluster. In our case, it's already done on the primary side. But if we switch over the Hana database to the secondary side, we have to take care that the systemd unit is also available here on the second node. And that's what we would do now. So we have here this configuration example, and we make a copy of them and rename it at the same time, HTTP 00. So I choose the name SID and the instance number. And as I mentioned, it has to be in the same structure on the other node. So this was the configuration file, and now we have to copy the logging information configuration, HANADB exporter logging, and we will copy this to the same directory, Hana database. So we just have to copy this path here. We need this later on in the configuration, and now we can modify the cluster configuration profile. So here we have to change the name where this system unit file should run. In our case, it's the local host, and if you have a reliable DNS working, you can use you can also use the host name. If you have a different instance number than 00, you have to change here the values, and you have to provide the credentials for a user which has access permissions to the database and can run the HTTP SQL queries for the database for the Prometheus Hana database exporter. So I have to provide a password here for my database. So we have to enter the full path here, where the login config can be found and where we would like to store our exporter logs. I will have them in the same log directory as all the other system logs. Okay, as I mentioned, the Hana database exporter will be maintained by the cluster as a systemd unit primitive. So we can just try to start this to see if this would work here locally, but we will not have access to the database because the database is not running as master on this node, it's running on the other side. Systemctl start Prometheus Hana DB exporter, and we have to provide the configuration, and the configuration is etu _HTTP 00. Let's check the status. So as we can see, the exporter can be started, but we don't have access to the database on this node at the moment. So let's stop this. Okay, perfect. If we have enabled the new exporter, you have normally to modify this in your on your monitor host. So there is a file called etc Prometheus YAML, and there you have to add the exporter information. As you can see here, we have them grouped. So we have a HANA group. There we have running the node exporter, the cluster exporter, and the HANA database exporter. And then we have a group called DRBD. There we have only the node exporter and the cluster exporter. And we have a group NetWeaver. There we have a different exporter running. It's called the SAP host exporter. So if you have changed something here in this file, you have to restart the Prometheus server, and then you're fine. So back to my HANA node. So we have to enable the Loki. Loki is split into two parts. So we have the client part and the server part. The server part is called Loki and running on our monitoring server, and the client part is Prometheus. So the Prometheus must be enabled and started on each node, which should provide log information to the central Loki server. So this will be done here with we have to check the log files, the configuration files first. So they can be found under etc Loki Prometheus. So here we have to provide a place where Loki can store the position file and the server where the information should be sent to, and how we would like to get the logs and from where. So as this is already done on the first HANA node, we can simply copy the file from there. HANA 01 etc Loki Prometheus and provide them here, etc Loki. And what we have to do now, as we would like to retrieve the, or as we would like to capture the logs from the systemd journal, we have to add the Loki user to the systemd journal group. So we do user add and add an additional group which is called systemd journal and append this to the user Loki. What's wrong? It's not user add, it's user mod. Sorry. So grab etc group. There we are. Now the Loki user is also part of the group systemd journal. Now we can start and enable the daemon for Prometheus. Enable Prometheus and can check if it's running. Status. Looks good, but there is an error. Well, let's see if it's working or not. So to get access to the Grafana dashboard, to implement a new dashboard and activate the Loki annotation, we need a browser. So first of all, I would like to check if the Prometheus is working as expected. So this is the web UI for Prometheus. Then we have the monitor. Have a look on if all targets are reachable. Then we have monitor the Grafana dashboard, web UI, dashboards, and search for a new dashboard for the multi-cluster implementation. For multi-cluster implementation, we can have a look on grafana.com and check if we can find a dashboard there. Okay, so the Loki part seems to be working because we have a value here. Just to refresh, and as you can see, they're changing. So the Prometheus client is able to provide log information to the Loki server. As I mentioned before, so we have, if you change something in your server configuration, add in your exporter, you can go to your Prometheus server and look for targets, and then you see all the targets which are configured if they are up and running. And if you miss something, you would see here no entry for a specific exporter. Okay, this is the Grafana dashboard, or this is the Grafana web UI. So here we can you can manage all your dashboards. So we already have some dashboards there. For example, we have the cluster dashboard. As we can see here, we have a dashboard for each of our clusters. So we have a DRBD cluster, Hana cluster, and a NetWeaver cluster. And we can switch between those by simply changing here or using the drop-down menu. So we would like to add in your dashboard. We can use this import function here. And on the Grafana website, there is a search function. So we are looking for a multi-cluster dashboard. And there we have a multi-cluster dashboard. So we can simply copy the dashboard ID and provide here the dashboard ID. Click on load, and then we see, okay, cluster labs HA, multi-cluster overview. Then we have to provide a folder where we would like to store the dashboard and which source we would like to use. In our case, it's Prometheus. Say import, and then we have a new dashboard available. Okay, so we would like to see in our dashboards when a takeover was happened. So I will choose the cluster detail dashboard and go to the Hana dashboard. And yeah, to grab a Loki statement or a log entry statement and make them visible. So we have the annotation functionality. So I will duplicate it up here. And to look for such a query, we can use this Explorer here. You can choose a source where I would like to explore, and then select the time frame. Choose your source. In our case, it's a systemd journal. Then he will automatically run a query. And now we have all the information here. And a Hana takeover is provided by information in the log file, which is called promote clone. Promote clone. Let's search for them. So we will find some entries here. And as you can see, it's called resource agent and action promote clone with return code 0. This is a clearly statement for a Hana takeover, which was successfully. So I will copy this statement and choose this here for our query again and run the query. So I can see 2 takeovers happen during the time frame of the last 3 hours. And what I would like not to see is the queries running from the Loki. So what we can do is simply open such a event here and use this filter that will automatically be added here in our query, and we will get only the real result for HANA System Application Takeover. So we can now choose this Loki query, copy this, go back to our dashboard, and now we can change the dashboard, click on annotation, add a new annotation, give them a name, takeover, choose a data source, in our case it's Loki, choose a color, each color you prefer, enter the Loki query, say add, go back to the dashboard, and then we will have here such a switch which you can enable or disable the annotation. And if we select the time window where a takeover happened, you will see here the annotations. If I switch them off, they are gone. If I switch them on, they will be visible. That's all. Thank you. Okay, let's go to the task list here. So we have set up the HANA database exporter. We have activated the systemd journal for Loki. We have provided a new dashboard with a multi-cluster overview, and we have activated the Loki annotation for HANA System Application Takeover. That's what I would like to show you. Yeah, thank you for your time. See you again. Bye-bye.